Welcome to another farm to table meal. I am Sarah McDade, and today we are going to be doing a wood stove stew. Now, if you don't have a wood stove, totally fine. You can still do the same recipe right on your stove top or even in your oven, or you can also tailor it to put it in a crock pot too. I will have the full recipe in the description, as well as variations of doing it in the crock pot, oven, or on a wood stove. And again, all my recipes that I make, I tailor to farm to table. If you don't have a farm or if you don't have a garden, I highly suggest getting in contact with your local farmer. You can find all of the ingredients right from your local farmer's market, or if it's off season, be able to purchase online. One of the main things is helping to support your local farmer in your area, because that is where you're going to get the most nutritious and best produce. So this month of October, I'm going to be doing a series of cozy soups. Today is episode 1, which is my wood stove stew. So let's get to it. The wood stove is ready. When that tiny little fan starts to spin, we'll be good to go. Out here in my garden right now, and as you can see, my rosemary is flourishing, so I'm going to grab a few of these and bring them inside. That's all there is to it. We placed our Dutch oven onto our wood stove because it was starting to heat up when we saw the little fan going. Something that you also need to get from your local farmers: good quality protein, good quality meat. Today we are using some beef stew cuts that we get from one of our local farmers here. Each year we get about a quarter of a cow every year. This is about 2 to 2.5 pounds. Garlic, celery, rosemary, fresh from our garden, produce that we grew from our garden of potatoes and white onion. And I like to use baby carrots because I like to dice them in half and have bigger chunks of baby carrots in the stew. For my family, we love carrots, so we put them in a little bit bigger. And I'm also going to be cooking with some organic beef broth that I got from Trader Joe's. Of course, if you can make any of your own broths, all power to you, that's amazing. And then as far as seasonings go, I'm also going to be adding some organic oregano, some organic basil, garlic powder, salt, and pepper. I like to use pink salt for when I'm cooking. It has better flavor, and they say it's better for you as well. Our roux to start off with. I'm also going to be using some organic flour, pure Irish butter too. Let's get started with making our roux. One of the main things that I find with cooking a stew and making it really, really flavorful, especially the meat, not getting like a dry, bland, or blah stew. That is something that you don't want. First, cook the meat and mix it in with a roux so it can hold on to all of the flavors as it cooks, as it simmers, and it's so much better. Again, with my recipes, I am just a simple cook. I am no chef. I have no experience in the background except for learning from my amazing mom, who was and is still an amazing cook. These recipes actually come from her and the passion to do this as well. I grew up with my mom cooking these amazing recipes that filled the whole house with just amazing aromas of garlic, onion, thyme, and basil. And to me, it was very nostalgic and it felt like home. That's what I want for my kids too. For our roux, I'm gonna just cut up this butter to make it a little bit easier and mix in my garlic. I mince up that garlic, making that core memory with my kids so that whenever they smell garlic or basil or rosemary, that you can grow right in your garden or off a balcony, or literally just sitting in your window, by the way. I want my kids to always remember that. I'm gonna take this, I'm gonna put it in our Dutch oven, which is on our wood stove right now. That should be at a very good temperature. After this simmers for a little bit and we start to smell that delicious fragrance of cooked garlic, I'm also going to be adding in the onion, and then I'm gonna be adding in our beef and letting that kind of simmer and get brown. And then we will add in the flour, which then adds that roux that I was talking about before. First things first, let's go put this on. And while our meat starts to brown a little bit, I am gonna get the rest of our produce ready. I just washed some of our potatoes, so we're gonna go ahead and peel some of these. Totally your preference of how many of potatoes or any of these ingredients you want to add. And that's what's so beautiful about a stew, is you can add as much or as little of an ingredient as you want. Other preference is to peel the potato or to not peel the potato. It's total preference, texture-wise, so we will just take them off. And again, for those who don't know, we do own a regenerative farm here in Paw Paw, Michigan. We do regenerative methods and heal our soil, all while growing all of this amazing, nutritious produce we love to cook with farm to table. And again, you know, as big a piece as you want when it comes to celery, I'm doing just basic chop here. I'm gonna finish doing all of this produce and getting it chopped up into our produce bowl. And then we will check on our meat here in just a minute and add in our flour to make our roux and add everything else.
After you make your roux, you want to add in your 2 cups of your dry red wine and then let that simmer a little bit. I let that cook for a few minutes until it is reduced down. And then I like to add in my beef stock on top of that and give it a good stir, and then let it simmer for a few minutes before you add in your produce of carrots and potatoes and celery. I then added on a few fresh sprigs of rosemary and then let it cook for about 30 minutes, checking the temperature to make sure it's perfect, and you are all set to go.